Brian Turk.
And I'm Samuel Papp.
And in 2016, the average student loan debt for college graduates was roughly $37,000, up 6% from the previous year. This affects nearly 44 million people per year, and some of you sitting in this classroom may also be affected by this. As a student who is currently borrowing money to pay for tuition, I know just how fast that the debt can climb. Just after 2 years, and I have another 2 years to go.
Student debt can have a crippling effect on college graduates, and unless this issue is resolved, this will only continue to grow. We will discuss why this issue is so important, the cause of the issue, some background information, and then some possible ways to solve this issue. First, we will discuss why this issue is so important and the impact it has on college graduates in today's society.
According to an article by Student Loan Hero, roughly 71% of college graduates have some form of loan debt. And this may affect many of you sitting in this room today. And a couple of years down the road, you may be faced with large amounts of money to pay back. There are several negative effects that this has on an individual level. One of them, according to the federal government, is the fact that it takes roughly 10 to 20 years on average for students to pay off their loan debt. And when it takes 10 to 20 years to do that, people have less money to invest or save for the future. This also has an effect on today's economy. People who have to put more money to paying back their loan debt have less money to put into the economy. And this also affects the housing market, because nearly 40% of college graduates who have loan debt delay buying houses, and when less people buy houses, prices can stagnate.
The cost of college has gotten to the point where some people are even questioning whether a college degree is still worth it. According to a 2015 Washington Post article by Jeffrey J. Salingo, just 38% of students who graduated college in the past decade strongly agree that their higher education was worth it, according to the results of 30,000 alumni polled by Gallup Purdue Index. That article goes on to state that a majority of students who receive financial aid at 15% of American four-year colleges ended up earning less than $25,000 a year just a decade after they enrolled.
Next, we will discuss some background information on why tuition is so high. And this may be obvious to some of you, but there may be some things that you didn't know about. The leading cause of massive student loan debt is the rise in tuition costs. According to College Board, over the last 10 years, the rate of tuition increased about 3.5% per year, and that number seems to be exponentially increasing. This also correlates closely with a decrease in federal subsidies, state funding, and increased enrollment and decreased education budget. In an article by the Wall Street Journal, some professors believe that the increase for the tuition is university expansion and technology advances, state-of-the-art facilities like stadiums, dormitories, and laboratories.
The increase in the cost of college has outstripped things like inflation and even the increase in the cost of healthcare. According to a 2015 article, The Cost of College Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow by Mike Patton, the cost of college has increased at twice the rate of inflation and almost 1.5 times the rate of increase in the cost of healthcare over the past 2 decades. And while this may seem startling, the college tuition has been increasing rapidly for much longer than that, as far back as 1980, and even longer in some cases.
Now that you are aware of some of the underlying causes of the tuition rise, we will discuss some potential solutions that can be considered to solve the issue. One of the easiest ways to make the tuition not be so high is for the federal government to get involved. One way to do that would be setting tuition caps, or in other words, making it law, or setting price caps on the tuition. And then another easy way for the government to get involved would be to set caps on how much students can borrow per year to pay tuition.
The government could also become more involved with funding and how colleges spend those funds. Like, for example, the government on both the state and federal level could provide more funding on a per-student basis, allowing funding to increase with the amount of as enrollment increases, so enrollment doesn't outpace funding, which would cause tuition to go up. And the government could also mandate that colleges put a certain amount of time, or I'm sorry, a certain amount of the funding towards tuition before putting it towards other things, such as extracurriculars or athletics and such. These are just a few of the many possible solutions to the problem of student loan debt.
The negative effects of student loan debt continue to rise along with the cost of tuition, and something needs to be done about this. And now that we have identified the problem, stated some of the causes, and discussed potential solutions, you should have a better understanding of why it is such a big deal.
College education is still important in today's economy, but it is harder than ever to get a degree because of the financial burden it places on students and their families. If enough people get up and speak their minds, someone is bound to listen.